How's it going, Martians? Welcome back to the report. Hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. Be sure as you tune in to hit that like. Hit the like because I got a camera on now. What? How long has it been since I had a camera and a computer screen? I feel like it's been a lifetime. I feel like I've streamed half of my YouTube career with either only camera or only my screen. I don't know. But definitely give me a like, guys. Help pump those YouTube algos, obviously. Also, if you're following me on Twitter, please do me a favor and come and retweet my most recent retweet and hit a like for it to pump the Twitter algos so that people can know that I'm actually live streaming, because I have this suspicion most people aren't being notified that I'm doing it. And for anybody that retweets and likes my Twitter post, first 20, I'm going to be tipping you with TipBot. So a little bit of reward for you. You reward me for helping get people notified that I'm going live. So appreciate everything. So with that said and out the way, let's jump straight into it. Obviously, with our crypto charts here, we're in the middle of a pump. It's a nice pump too. Bitcoin's up 12%, Ethereum's now up 13%, and XRP's following behind with an 8% pump. Now, obviously, this move is not yet erasing all the losses that we've had, especially with the big 50% dump that we had. So we'll look at technicals later in the stream. That'll actually be like the last thing we do. I got a lot of news that I want to cover. A lot of, obviously, as the title says and as the little clip art shows, we got some heavy topics to talk about. But don't worry, I do have silver linings for y'all. There is a few silver linings, especially with the primary topic of this video, at least for Americans. And I'm not sure about other countries. We'll see. Maybe some people in the chat who are from outside the US will be able to enlighten us about what other countries are doing about the primary topic of this video. But with that, let's jump in and look what the other markets are doing. So obviously, we're still a half hour out from the Dow, the American markets opening, but already the Dow is down 412 points, 2%, S&P down 2.24%, and NASDAQ down a percentage and a half. On a global stage, oops, I need to refresh this because obviously it doesn't refresh on its own. So European markets, UK is down 1.74%, Germany is down almost a percentage, and France is down 0.5%. The Asian markets, very, very red as well, basically a percentage, 2.5% for Hong Kong. So overall, everybody's been red over the course of today, and obviously yesterday the Dow was red as well. So the bleed out is still going on. Unfortunately, everything's going terribly, tits up. Thankfully for us in crypto, we're doing well. We're seeing some green, some nice green for the day too. So maybe there has been this trend when it comes to crypto and the traditional, at least the US markets. When crypto pumps, there tends to be a pump for the traditional market, and when crypto's dumping hard, like our 50% dump day, that actually happened just the night before, or maybe it was only like a few hours before the Dow opened, and it had what is now its second worst day in history. So at least point wise. So maybe this is a good sign. We'll see halfway through the stream. We'll look at the Dow Jones opener and see what happens. But obviously we still have a half hour and we got plenty of news to get through. So our first piece of news here, Cryptopolis. First off, shout out Cryptopolis. If you're not following him, how are you following me and not Cryptopolis? This man is brilliant. He's got, I think it's 23 years of experience within financial planning. So definitely worth a follow. Brilliant guy. He's obviously on Brad Keim's co-host all the time. So definitely give him a follow on Twitter. But he shared a tweet talking about Credit Susie having said that at the end of 2019, there was $230 trillion of wealth around the world and $253 trillion in debt. So ultimately, the world is bankrupt, as their current balance is negative $23 trillion. It's supposed to be trillion, but he was tired. It says down here, he's like, sorry, very late at night. But so Yeah, the world is insolvent as a whole, and now the markets are falling out, right? So they're becoming even more insolvent because those debts are coming due rapidly. But yeah, I see a lot of people shouting at me in the chat, but I will get to you guys once we get through the news. I want to get all the news out for anybody that's watching after the stream because hundreds of people still do watch after, so I want to get that done. And second half of the stream, I'll jump in, get back in the comments, and cover everything. So don't worry, guys. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. This one comes from, it's retweet from the World Economic Forum, and it says, COVID-19, IMF chief gives 3 action areas for a healthy global economy. And it's got a little graphic here saying, the case for a coordinated and synchronized global fiscal stimulus is becoming stronger by the hour. What kind of coordinated and synchronized global fiscal stimulus could they be talking about? I don't know, but I like the sounds of that. Now, maybe that's just me putting my XRP tinfoil cap on, but you know, I will say I don't have this like diehard belief like I know a lot of people do that this is all that the virus and the collapse is all orchestrated and they're using it as some plan to introduce XRP into the system. Maybe that is, maybe it is. I just feel like it's a reach, right? I feel like as XRP investors, we really just want to coordinate or correlate everything to XRP. Everything's related to our investment, right? And you know, I do it a lot, and I would love for that to be the case. And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that just temper yourself. You know, the market's doing really well right now, at least for XRP. We're getting a nice bump up. Hopefully this continues. But don't expect the world as the whole world is going into at least a recession, maybe a depression. So we also have a lot of very serious issues to cover as far as, you know, we as XRP investors and crypto investors in general might be doing really well over the next few months to a year as the market should rally along with gold, right? All safe havens should rally once the market has settled down and met its bottom. Right now, we're likely seeing the markets dump, obviously, because we're watching as a lot of margin calls are being made and people are having to sell whatever they can to basically meet ends, right? They've lost a lot in the you know, if you want to look at it as crypto, people have lost a lot of money in traditional markets, so they have to cash out that little bit of that safe haven in order to meet what they've lost in the traditional. Now, obviously, that's primarily for gold, but I think that crypto's dumped for it's not just me that thinks. It's a lot of people believe that cryptos have met the same fate, largely for the same reason. Next series of tweets, and this comes from Raoul Pal. If you don't follow Raoul Pal, you need to. This man is brilliant. I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts from Raoul Pal lately, and he's brilliant. He's truly a brilliant individual. And so I want to share this with you. And this is basically his sentiment on where we're at right now. As of this was obviously tweeted yesterday. So he says, just an update for me in case you were interested. I've just closed all short positions in equities, oil, and HYG, and had closed bonds a while ago. I am now 100% focused on the US dollar, which is a wrecking ball. I think that the authorized has no chance. I think he means authorities there. The authorities have no chance of catching up with what is happening in the markets. One by one, they are shutting down. All liquidity has gone to key parts of the global financial architecture as key parts of the global financial architecture have stopped functioning entirely. So net result is going to be a scramble for dollars unseen in our lifetimes. The 1930s was the last time we saw this as money poured into the US, forcing an eventual devaluation versus gold. Okay, and this is what we're looking for as XRP investors. This is why I'm reading this, okay? Because as I just said, we are in a safe haven asset. all gold is down, silver's down. Okay, it's not just our investments in crypto that's down. The whole of the economy, everything is tanking because everybody's jumping into cash, be that euro, be that dollars. But as things progress, everybody is going to be coming to the dollar, especially because the dollar is the global reserve currency. So it's the go-to for all markets at the end of the day. Now, to go on, this time the very dollar system is at risk, as Raoul Pal has always said. And the way it is going to play out is via dollar strength, not weakness. I do not see any mechanism to stop this. Oil falling to $22 in a couple of weeks is a shock that the global funding markets cannot take. There is simply not enough dollars being generated as the world shuts down here. So there is no funding mechanism to alleviate it. I don't think swap lines are going to work. There is no way to create the 15 trillion needed in offshore and also provide the dollar shortage onshore in the US. And here's something to keep in mind, all right? Understand this. What he just said is the dollar is going to implode because of the very thing that we have talked about in this community for years now. Well, not myself, but in XRP community for years it has been talked about, and almost since the dawn of my channel I've talked about the Triffin dilemma. Okay, what he's pointing out here is exactly the Triffin dilemma, and it is going to be what kills the dollar at the end of the day. So he continues, this is going to get really, really ugly for EM, which is emerging markets, and global economies and banking systems. The US has its own set of problems post-regulation. All global regulations post-global financial crisis of 2008 are going to have to be undone. But I'm not sure, well, Raoul Pal is not sure we will have time to change. Unless everything's been done behind the scenes, maybe, right? But again, that's our XRP tinfoil hats on. So, Raoul Pal continues. At the end of all this, we will need to create a new system from scratch. The global central banks have been telling us this for a long time now. It will take time to play out, and central bank balance sheets are going to explode to levels never imagined. We have created a perfect storm, an unimaginable global financial and economic and potentially humanitarian crisis that is going to take everything we've got to stop it. I'm just not sure it's possible. Ugh. We have to hope for the best, plan for several unimaginable outcomes too. The dollar and Bitcoin is all I got right now. I'm adding to Bitcoin and I'm max long dollars versus Euro, Great British Pound, UAD, BRL, Mexican, KRW, KNY, JPN. Good luck. This is not a drill. So Raoul Pal laying it on heavy, right? It's the whole, everybody sees it, right? It's not just us in the crypto community. It's not just goldies. It's everybody. Okay, turn on mainstream media. People are coming to terms. Nobody is really talking about the V anymore. Nobody's saying, oh, we're gonna see a V. We're gonna see a V. It's not happening. This is it. Not a drill. As Raoul Pal says, this is not a drill. It's the real deal. It's the financial system is going down, and Raoul Pal obviously has followed Bitcoin. I don't know if he's actually informed about XRP. Maybe he is just part of the Bitcoin team, but he's primarily focused on actual markets, not really Bitcoin. He's kind of new to Bitcoin, and he's actually made this clear himself in a few of the podcasts I watched. So he's not even really super well educated on it. He just sees it as a hedge. So my next series of tweets is this is to lay out for you all, and I know this is nobody. I don't think any of us really want to even have to deal with this virus talk anymore because it's so depressing. Okay, it's so depressing. We're carbonating ourselves. Okay, but I have to lay out at least I'm not even going to go over the numbers of this as far as everything involved in this. I'm just going to cover ultimately the end of Jeremy C. Young's tweet span here. But I've tweeted this out, so if you want to read through the whole thing, by all means on Twitter, go check it out and read through it. It's a really good read, and I'm just going to read his first one here, and I'm going to jump down, I think, to right down here where he covers the tactic that we're doing right now and also the ugly truth of the tactic that we're doing right now and what they're not telling you or anyone on mainstream media, though I have heard a few mainstream outlets mention the time frame, which is interesting because I haven't heard any of them reference this study or anyone talk about the current lockdown being extended as long as it most likely is. So, Jeremy C. Young, we can now read the Imperial College report on the virus that led to the extreme measures we've seen in the US this week. And reading it, it's terrifying. He offers a summary in this thread, so he offers to anybody to correct him on anything he's got wrong. Everything is right from what I've read through in the study. Nothing is wrong. So, at least, yeah, nothing that I could catch. The Imperial, we'll start from this one where he talks about the final option that the Imperial College suggests, which is what we are now seeing all nations around the world move towards. So, the Imperial College team ran the numbers assuming a suppression strategy. Isolate symptomatic cases, quarantine their family members, social distancing for the whole population, all public gatherings, most workplaces shut down, schools and universities closed. And here's the beauty. The numbers, I'm not even going to talk about the numbers they shares because they're horrifying, but what we find is that suppression works. It eliminates this virus, or it helps control it at least. All right? We get hit, but don't exceed the number, the hospitals, when he says we get hit, the hospitals get hit, but don't exceed the number of available ventilators. The nightmarish death toll from the rest of the study disappear. But here's the catch. And this is why I'm covering this man's tweet spam. Here's the catch. If we ever relax suppression before a vaccine is administered to the entire population, the virus comes back and kills millions in a few months. The same as if we don't do suppression, we don't do a month-long lockdown. After the first suppression, in other words, after the first suppression ends in July, and nobody's hearing this right now. Nobody's hearing that this suppression, it doesn't just go through for a month. This is going to be several months lockdown. After the first suppression period ends in July, we could probably lift the restrictions for a month, followed by another 2 months of suppression in a repeating pattern without triggering an outbreak or overwhelming the ventilator supply. Staggering breaks by city could do a bit better. But we simply cannot ever allow the virus to spread throughout the entire population in the way that other viruses do, because it is just too deadly. And it is. And you can go whatever off of whatever statistic you want, but the go-to for me is how many people have recovered from this and how many people have died. And we compare your recovered to your dead. It's even more nightmarish than you're told on the media because it's currently a 9% mortality rate. It's almost a 10% mortality rate of those who recovered to those who have died. We can all say that, well, there's a lot of people that don't get tested. There's a lot of people who it seems like there's a lot more people with it now, and it seems like the ratio is going down because of the tests. But at the end of the day, what comes down to is the number who recover versus the number of mortality, because we will see this number exceed into the multiple millions very soon. Within a month, it will be tens, if not hundreds of millions of people who have this. Then we have testing. And then, when it gets into those numbers, we'll have a good idea as to what's going to happen as far as the actual mortality rate. All right? And so when we start getting large scale testing done around the world and not just in a few specific countries where the outbreak's not even serious, then we'll talk. Then we'll be like, okay, now we can extrapolate from these large scale studies what the actual mortality rate is. But right now, it's ugly. It's just not pretty, okay? And the ugly truth is, not even talking about mortality rate, not even talking about the fact that, and the real danger here, why this is most likely to be the case, that we're going to see this strategy that Jeremy is pointing out here taken up, where we see this rolling lockdown period of 2 months, month off, 2 months, month off, where economies are essentially jump-started for a month-long period so that they can get production of key manufacturing things out, and it's gonna be a really, really surreal world in a lot of places. And honestly, to be completely honest, if this is how this plays out, if it's most likely the countries who don't obey this are going to have their systems overwhelmed, and they're just going to hope that after it runs through the whole population that they're going to pretend that those studies are out there that you don't build immunity to this. They're going to pretend that you'll get immune, don't worry. And they'll bet on that. But there is a lot of evidence now that you do not get immunity to this. One of the people from the key case study is of one of the people from the cruise, the Princess Cruise or whatever. I can't remember the name of the cruise ship, but one of the members of that cruise ship tested negative after in the hospital for a week or whatever, tested negative for the virus, was sent home. A week or 2 weeks later, he's back in the hospital testing positive with it again. So there's a very strong indicator that we do not build immunity to this. So we have to have a vaccine for it, unless you just want to continue to get this virus and it's circulating. So here's the weird thing is that even though I'm saying this, I personally don't know about getting a vaccine myself because I've always been anti-vaccine. It's like unless it's a necessary vaccine for me to personally survive, I avoid them. So we'll see. I might just let everybody else go get it and hope for herd mentality or herd immunity, right? But we'll see. At any rate, move on to, again, we're going to get to good news. Don't worry, guys. I know it's dark and gloomy right now. And I got to get to the last bit of dark news before I can really start showing you guys silver linings and the good stuff. I like to bring us up on the good notes at the end here, right? So I know I'm bringing you guys down hard, but just stick with it. You got this, okay? So I'm going to give you a little bit of levity too, all right? As everybody knows, a lot of people are being put in locked down in your homes now, and a lot of people are being fired. A lot of people are losing their jobs, okay? So Donald Trump made an announcement to 20% of the American population. I'm sorry, you're fired. No, I'm just... Okay, guys, I really shouldn't laugh about it. I really shouldn't, because it is serious. A lot of Americans are now being laid off. It's like 20% of the American population is now being laid off. Unemployment, over 20% already. And we've only been in this hell for a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's only going to get worse. So that leads to this next little section. But don't worry, this is me leading into the good stuff, okay? So what I'm laying down is the reason why the silver lining is necessary. It's 110% necessary, okay? So the percentage of Americans with less than $1,000 in savings is shocking. So this was posted in December 2018 on Motley Fool, or December 18 of 2019, and it's the key takeaway. New data from Go Banking Rates reveal that 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. And that means they're clearly nowhere close to having a complete emergency fund. And that's very realistic, right? $1,000 will last you in an emergency situation where you're not spending on anything other than essentials, and your rent, and might not even be able to include rent in that for most places, especially in California and New York. But your key essentials, food and maybe electricity, and your everything but rent, essentially, right? 1,000 is just going to get you by. And 69% of Americans don't have that. Worse yet, 45% of Americans in the study said that they don't have anything. They have no savings. Not a dollar in savings. They live paycheck to paycheck or in debt. Now extrapolate this information, this data, this understanding to the situation facing Americans right now. Okay? That's why what Trump is doing, what Trump is fighting for right now, is the most necessary thing for our nation right now. Nothing else matters right now more for Americans, more for most people in the States than this. And that being the government writing Americans indiscriminate, if they're an 18-year-old American or older, indiscriminate of whatever purpose, other than maybe the super rich, which apparently is included in this, but we'll get into that, $1,000 check. And here's the key takeaways. I'm not going to go through the whole article because I think we talked about this a little bit in my last live stream, and we'll get a little bit more into it. But the key takeaways that are important for you is that Americans will be almost certain now to receive $1,000 check from the government as a result of during the shutdown period. And this should be coming at the beginning of April, according to this. And what's most important to take away from this, not even that rich people are probably not going to get the check, but that, where is it at here? Where is it at? I guess it was in this section. Why am I not seeing it now? Okay, so the other takeaway from this, I can't find it in the article here where I saw it. I know I saw it in here. But the idea is that, where did it? Okay, I'm not even, I gave up trying to find it, but I know that it's in this article. It's from Business Insider, so you can find the article yourself, titled here. And this isn't a one-time thing. If the lockdown continues, they will continue to make these $1,000 payments to Americans each month that we need to be under lockdown. Which means that the bill they're proposing is taking into account that it's going to be an extended lockdown. It's going to be most likely a rolling lockdown. So we're going to continue with this. That's good though. All right? That for everything that that a lot of people might be worried about, if nothing else, we can take solace in we'll have money for food so that we don't starve, or Americans at least don't starve. I don't know if I'll qualify since I'm not in America. We'll see, hopefully. But I might have to go back to America if they don't want to give it to me since I'm out of the country right now. But at least we know that we won't be starving, or Americans won't be starving. I don't know about the rest of the world, and that's why I say that it's good news for Americans, all right? I hope that most other countries choose to take this route, at least during the time of this crisis. Because right now in Malaysia, there's not even talks of this. And people in Malaysia have even less. Even larger percentage of the population has nothing. No savings. And because of how they've moved to a cashless economy here, a lot of people in Malaysia don't even have money for 2 weeks. They live literally day to day. Literally day to day. So for a lot of people, they're probably already like freaking out, don't know what to do, and who knows what they're doing for food. I don't know. Maybe they're robbing places already. I don't know. But I do know that what Trump is doing for America is what the rest of the world should be following suit to do for their citizens, especially during this lockdown period. So, again, if anybody from anywhere else in the country, or the world rather, is aware of their governments taking similar steps, please let me know so that I can follow this and we can try and get a list of who all is good. And also put your thoughts in if you think that this is a good idea. If you don't, like, that's why I led in with the narrative of, listen, a lot of people don't even have $1,000 a month or $1,000 in their bank right now, and 20% of Americans have lost their jobs, right? So this is necessary. And honestly, this is the kind of bailout we should have gotten in 2008. It should have been a bailout from the bottom up. And the reality is this might actually be able to jumpstart the economy when we come out of this, when we come out of the other end of this virus. And so we might not actually see the economy be completely destroyed as long as supply chain can be maintained through this lockdown, even if it's a rolling lockdown, as long as we can maintain our supply chains through this, there's a very high possibility that we will rebound strong, okay? Even without crypto in the picture, simply because we have enabled the consumer class to fund the resurgence of business. And that's what's most important. That's what's most critical to maintaining a healthy economy. And we'll see how that goes. So I want to jump into our first piece of XRP related. Well, first we'll do this little bit of news. This isn't really good news. Just something interesting. We got a new appointee for Ripple, who has been appointed to the lead their major expansion across Asia Pacific. So this is over from the Hollow Report. And I'll read the whole article for you. It's pretty short. Global payment settlement firm Ripple is appointing a veteran in the banking and financial payments industry as the lead sorry guys in the banking and financial payments industry to lead its efforts to scale in Southeast Asia. According to Fin News Asia, Kevin Lee will spearhead Ripple's expansion strategy in the region as the firm targets its customer base in Asia Pacific. So Lee has years of experience in payment settlements, fraud and risk management, and data and digital banking solutions spanning across the globe. Prior to his appointment by Ripple, Lee held senior positions at MasterCard, Visa, and outsourcing service provider Fidelity National Information Services. As Ripple's new lead in Southeast Asia, Lee says, "We want to enable money to flow across borders as quickly as data does by empowering players in the remittance and money transfer market." With nearly half of Ripple's clients in its RippleNet payment network based in Asia Pacific, the firm has identified the region as a key location for its global expansion efforts. So the network also recently added digital. Oh, this isn't actually even the article that. This is good news. I didn't read the bottom of here to see this section a little bit. So the network also recently added digital money transfer service Azimo as a partner to deliver payments in the Philippines, and has partnered with the remittance firms Centby, Hanpass, and Wireberry to provide payment settlement services in South Korea. And I didn't hear about Hanpass or Wireberry. I thought Centby's old news though, but maybe I'm wrong. But on to the other good news, because I didn't see this at the bottom of the article here. Ripple partners with its first non-banking institution in Thailand. So this one over from Crypto Newsflash. Ripple has announced in a press release that D-Money will use RippleNet with immediate effects to process incoming payments to Thailand from the high-volume payment corridors from South Korea, Indonesia, Singapore, Israel, and the Middle East and Gulf region. So Ripple explains that more than 1 million Thai people work abroad and regularly send money home to their families to ensure their survival. According to World Bank data, the volume of remittances in the Southeast and Pacific region, in the East Asian and Pacific region, will increase by almost 7% to 143 billion in 2018, growing 2% faster than in 2017. Wait, what? Is this old? No, it's March. Why is it showing data from 2018? That's strange. Okay. I just had to check. I was like, wait. Is this actually a 2020 article? I swore it was. And yeah, it is. Okay. That's a weird statistic to show. I wonder if that was accurate. At any rate, we know that the market is over 143 billion that moves through these remittance corridors. So DeMoney currently offers remittances to over 180 countries with more than 220,000 service points worldwide. Since its launch, DeMoney has been able to develop new target markets throughout partnerships such as Wing Money before the cooperation with Ripple. DeMoney was already able to offer same-day processing of payments. So this is actually interesting that DeMoney was already able to offer same-day payments or processing of payments. So it must be a matter of profits, of profit saving, of cost saving, right? That they would even incorporate Ripple into their systems. So at any rate, once RippleNet is fully rolled out in the second phase, customers will be able to send transactions home in real time. Aswin, the CEO of DeMoney, is anybody else able to pronounce that? I'm not even going to try. That's a mouthful of a last name. So Aswin, who's the CEO of DeMoney, describes that Ripple's technology provides a unique automated system that is already trusted by more than 300 partners worldwide. We are excited to partner with Ripple as together we aim to democratize finance in Thailand by bringing a new level of efficiency and accessibility for cross-border transactions to and from the nation. Marcus Treacher, the Senior Vice President of Customer Success at Ripple, explains that the digital banking revolution is taking Thailand by storm, and DeMoney is the first non-banking institution in the country to use RippleNet. With this, Thailand is pursuing a vision of becoming a smart nation and providing the local population with the best possible technology in the financial sector and in their lives. So, DeMoney has been a telecommunications and technologies business since 1999 and has been constantly looking for creative ideas to improve the world through new technologies. In 2017, XRPTipBot was awarded the non-banking international money remittance service license, money exchange license, and e-payment license by the Bank of Thailand. I don't know what XRPTipBot is, but I guess that must be like their parent company of DeMoney. By the name, I would assume, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I should look into that, but somebody else can look it up if they want. Let me know if it's actually worth what it is there. Finally, yeah, I think that's absolutely what that is actually then. Because it goes on to say that in 2018, DeMoney was founded. So this must be a subsidiary of XRPTipBot, which was able to establish itself in the market with a smart app and lower transaction fees. So far, DeMoney has charged a fee of 150 baht, which is around $4.60 per transaction. But this amount is expected to decrease significantly due to the partnership with Ripple, which, you know, if I would have read the article before I shared it with you guys, I would have known that that's exactly why they partner, right? It's like I speculate correctly when I'm like, wait, they're doing same-day transactions. Why would they use RippleNet? Oh, to save money that they can pass on then to their customers. Exactly what they're doing. So, the XRP price obviously has not shown any reaction to the new partnership. Big surprise, right? Oh well, so be it. So be it. Now, this is something from Bitcoin News that is actually like they're making news out of something that Brad said a long time ago. They're trying to say that Ripple must outsize Amazon. that Brad Garling has said this, but really it's just retweeting or them talking about something from back in February. I'll share it with you guys since people might be talking about it. But back in February, Brad explained that he wants Ripple to be the Amazon of the cryptocurrency industry, which is a pretty bold statement to make in any regard, right? And that means that he wants it to be Ripple to be bigger than Bitcoin, bigger than any other cryptocurrency known to man. Ripple must be number one, and he won't stop until this goal is accomplished. All right, and you know, I think that we can all see that vision coming to fruition, right? With each passing day, with each partnership and each new industry getting their feet into this ecosystem. And now that we're watching liquidity corridors start to dry up because, well, everybody's retreating to the dollar as fast as they can, and they're going to need a liquidity solution once the height of this crisis hits us. Now, we are a half hour into the stream, which obviously means that the Dow Jones here has opened. So let's refresh this page here and see what our open is looking like. So we're already down 1.5%. Where's the start here? Did it really just like? Hold on, let's go to the hour. Oh wait, that's weird. Okay, I guess that it started almost level today. So it almost started at the same level by the looks of it that it closed at here. Where is the close from yesterday? 18. We're on the 19th. Okay, yeah, so we opened just maybe only 1%. Yeah, only less than 1%, 0.5% lower than we closed yesterday. And we closed on a rally. A rally from a pretty serious dip, right? As I was saying in a series of tweets, I don't know if I talked about it in the live stream, but in a series of tweets and maybe in my last live stream, I mentioned that Wednesday is going to be ugly. And it was. The market went down over 10%. And it had a nice little recovery. It bounced back like 4%, I think it is here. 5% it bounced back. But as you see, we've already given back half of that just from the open. And the markets last night, the futures markets were not any better. So Dow is now plunging, but the Dow is plunging as crypto. Well, okay, come on now, XRP. Differentiate yourself from the Dow, okay? Bitcoin, are you doing this crap too? Are you up to this nonsense? Oh, it's down 1%. What the heck? Okay, you know what? Whoever is out there rigging cryptocurrency to move in tandem with the stock market, you need to stop, okay? We all know they're non-correlated. Stop making it look like they're correlated, okay? I know you, specifically, the guy rigging the markets right now, you're watching my stream. Cut it out, okay? We're not buying it. We all know what's going to happen here. But seriously, at least we're still up. We're still up for the day. That's what the takeaway. We're still up for the day. Let's see what happens here with this. We'll watch XRP and see what it does, and we'll jump back and forth between the Dow and XRP. Maybe go look at Bitcoin a little bit later if things really start to tank with XRP at least. But I'm gonna hop up here in the chat and read through some comments and eventually hopefully catch up with everybody. So where did I start out here? So Carl Lewis, you have let me down. You said originally Carl Lewis, before he started the stream, he said that he was a little birdie told him something, but his response, oh sorry, did I forget to mention I don't talk bird. You know, I honestly thought you were Dr. Doolittle, Carl, okay? And now I'm the fool. I'm the fool. XRP whale, was it a blue? A blue cardinal on your shoulder? Because that's what the bird is. Definitely a cardinal. So a blue cardinal. I would love to see a blue cardinal. Let's see. Palm Beach, Florida in the house. Ralph Cramden, how's it going, brother? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're still here. XRP whale. Number 4, it's a little early here in Cali, 6 a.m. Oh yeah, Carl, Whale, did you say what you do for a living? Because you said you're working right now. But you didn't. I don't think you responded as far as what you do for work. Because apparently most California is on lockdown, but you're going to work today, so hopefully stay safe. Remember, arm's length. But yeah, best wishes, bro. And everybody, be sure, we got 44 of you on the stream. Please hit that like. It helps the YouTube algorithms. And I'm going to try and get through everybody's comments today. Especially since I've been bad about it since I got back about not answering everybody in the comments. And I want to try and make sure anybody that's directing anything to me that I get a hold of you guys. Florian, bro, how's it going, bro? Welcome to stream. Hope you're doing good today, dude. I'm in profit 21% on the altcoin. Should I dump my altcoin now and jump into XRP? Peppy Trader, I don't know what to say, brother. If your altcoin's actually up while the rest of the crypto market's down, maybe that one's a savior coin, right? I don't know what to say as far as like altcoin versus XRP, because the whole of crypto is seeming, as you see here, to follow the traditional markets, Bitcoin and XRP included. So if you're in a non-correlated cryptocurrency right now, maybe it's in a pattern that is going to play out differently. So I don't know. I don't even know what coin you're into. So you have to follow your current moves with it. Is it moving in a range? Is that how you made the 21% profit within a range move? Is it breaking out to get the 21%? So you didn't give me enough information, so I'm going to say you do you, bro, and best of luck. Let's see here. 401ks getting crushed. Indeed, XRP whale. I wish that I had been more direct and straightforward with my stepfather to close his 401k earlier in the year, because I had a feeling that 2020 was going to be bad. It's like one of the biggest reasons what really got my butt on a plane and said I'm leaving America, because I'm legitimately worried about supply chain coming down, and I was more so worried about it being in America. Originally, I was more so worried about it being because of political turmoil in 2020. But now this virus is even more alarming. So for me, I really wanted to push because I felt that the market collapse was coming. And so unfortunately, my stepfather's 401k has gotten obliterated already. And I don't think that this is the end, as I'm sure many of you feel the same. Thankfully, he has really good bags of XRP. So assuming we're also right in the regard that this is the start of the transition to the new digital economy, hopefully all the losses that he incurs through his traditional 401k are made up for and more with what he has in XRP. So we'll see. But yeah, my heart definitely goes out to everybody that has a lot in the traditional markets. I know it's not so simple to take out a lot of money from traditional markets too, especially if you didn't get out near peak or before things really started to slide heavy. So I'm not saying that you're any less intelligent for not. I get it. The emotions are really hard to get your hands around, and it's hard to say where the bottom of the market really will be. Maybe we flatline from where we are and we just like kind of maybe we only go a few more % lower. So maybe it's not worth cashing out now. But I personally, not financial advice, feel like the traditional markets are only halfway there. I think that this is going to be at least a 60% retracement myself, and I think if we look here on the Dow Jones, I think it's only down like 30% or so now. Let's have a look just to get the exact percentage that we're down. 36%, so 2/3 of the way there if it's only a 60% retracement. And I think that's probably what we're looking at, 60%. I hope it's not more, because that's just scary to think about, but who knows really what happens from where we are. If they don't find a way to structure the markets and we do have to go through several month lockdown, we could see it. We could see it go down 80 to 90%. If we go into absolute lockdown for 18 months, I wouldn't be surprised if they just close the markets, just to make people think that their money's safe, even though when it comes back online, everything's mostly is going to be erased because so many companies are going to not be able to be bailed out, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if when this hits peak that they just say, sorry, we're closing the markets. Most other global markets are closing, we're closing, right? But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Well, that's a funny expression I haven't heard in a long time. Cheeks up, checks up. Wait. I'm not. Did something I said? I don't know. What's up, Scarabados, son? I'm doing pretty good today. A little bit stressed, as you can obviously tell from my mannerisms and tone. Obviously, I'm honestly exhausted. I didn't sleep at all the other night. That's why I didn't do a live stream yesterday, because I ended up passing out at like basically like 8 a.m. y'all's time. So literally an hour before I would have done the live stream, and I was in no shape to do a live stream anyways, because I was like so zombified at that point after being up for over 24 hours, and I'm still exhausted even though I slept like almost 10 hours today, because it's emotionally and physically exhausting with what we're all going through. I'm sure a lot of y'all feel it, and I do suggest everybody, when we're done with the live stream or whenever you hop off, if you got free time, go watch some comedy skits on YouTube. Go watch something funny. Get that oxytocin pumping. Get that dopamine levels up. It's good for your immune system. It's good for your mental well-being. You know, definitely take time away from all the heavy stuff, because if you can, because you know it has a toll on your health. You know, even if you're not getting coronavirus, I said it, now my video's gonna get flagged, but whatever. It's whatever. There's like nobody that views my videos anymore, so I'm gonna make 10 cents off the video. Woo, right? So I don't do that. I'm in that mindset because I was trying to use the channel for that, but it doesn't even matter anymore. Why do I care? If anything, they're just not gonna show the video to people. But yeah, be sure to take care of yourself, guys, and try to keep your spirits up as best you can. Find ways to like mentally hijack yourself and get yourself into a good mood, because you know, being overly stressed does have negative effects on your physiology, on you physically. It won't just reduce your immune system, but it actually ages you quicker. It has really bad ramifications. So go entertain yourself. Go stay in high spirits as best you can. You gotta, right? Make light of everything you can. XRP Whale says, I heard the physical stock market is closed today, but all the traders are online. Maybe that's why there's a sudden spike in crypto. That is an interesting possibility, XRP Whale. If I could like your comment, I would, because that's actually brilliant. There might be something to that. All these people are like, now all these traditional traders who are now able to trade their traditionals alongside crypto because they're at home now, and yeah, that's a good possibility. I can't prove or disprove it, but I think there might be something to that, because it did seem to spike just a few hours before people, you know, basically at about the time that the traditional would be getting up for the morning, right, before they head in. So you might have something there. Steve Metal says BTC up 13%, XRP 8%. Here we go, and it's still up. It's still up at least 4 or 5%, right? Right? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even going into the daily. Yeah, we're still doing good. We're still up 6% just from our recent low. Over 6% if I really go back, right? If we want to measure this whole move from top to bottom, which is really not even the whole day, we're up 9%, and we're still probably up like 7% total. So yeah, we're still doing good. What about MoneyGram? I have not checked MoneyGram. I actually haven't checked MoneyGram since the crash. Let's have a look, actually. I'm actually curious. Is it dying? Is MoneyGram like just falling off a cliff with everything else? Yeesh. Well, that don't look pretty. But let's go back to let's get a full view here. Okay, so that's okay. So that's years now. Never mind. I'm on the daily. So MoneyGram seems to be double bottoming now. If you look here, MoneyGram's double bottomed from where it was prior to Ripple investing in them. So the Ripple news basically patted MoneyGram against this crisis that we're in now, this financial crisis we're in, financial, epidemic, health, everything, the crisis that we're in. All right, we'll just leave it at that. So this is interesting. So MoneyGrams are a steal right now, especially since we know that MoneyGram is taking a lot of measures to ramp up their customer base by offering all kinds of incentive programs. And we know that nobody can compete with them. Well, Western Union at least can't compete with them anymore. And you still that they might suffer to some extent in the international remittance markets. International remittance markets may actually experience a pretty substantial slowdown in this time, because I'm sure that a lot of people are actually going home to their families, going from whatever country they work in to their home country, either because they are no longer employed and therefore their work visas are expiring, so they have to go home, or they just want to be with their families during this time. So I'm sure I don't have any clue what kind of percentage that could be, but I'm sure that there is at least a non or a meaningful portion of people who are working outside their home country, sending money home, that have decided to go home during this, especially if in countries or working jobs that they are no longer employed for. So XRP whales once again kind of feel like they have to pump up so they can drop them hard again. Yeah, if you're talking about MoneyGram, that is really what it looks like, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. So let's get back here on Poly, since MoneyGram's, we like MoneyGram, but because obviously Ripple partner, but XRP is really what we like to watch more than not, just since we're all XRPers. So XRPers, PP. I'm immature. Okay, I have the comedic level of a 5-year-old, I swear. Carl Lewis, do you think my missus jumped on board with the rest of the markets? Oh, wait, what? Are we talking about crypto or the traditional markets? I don't know. Dollar will pump first, Pepe Trader, absolutely. As we read from Raul Pao, I think that Raul Pao, I think it's Raul Pao. I'm not exactly 100% on pronunciation, but I think he's 110% right with the tweets that we read from him earlier. You were saying this during that time. Okay, so you say that he does know XRP. He follow Ripple on Twitter. So interesting that he doesn't mention it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's under the impression that because financials took so long to adopt and we're now at the crisis, maybe he's under the belief system that XRP is not going to survive, that it's going to be Bitcoin that wins. Because to be honest, I've been debating getting in Bitcoin, even though I'm worried about the halving still, and I still think that Bitcoin is an inferior technology. I've been debating diversifying with what I'm getting in from my closed stock positions now, and hopefully I'll clear the bank within a week. I'm debating getting a Bitcoin again, because if there's a possibility now that if the banks aren't all behind closed doors getting on to RippleNet, XRP is going to fail with the banks, because it's either central banks and traditional finance survives because they adopted this technology and they've been sitting on it, waiting for the moment of no return where they have no other option but to go on XRP, which we won't know until the ultimate peak of the dollar value and then crash, right? So as much as I've been a detractor from Bitcoin, I will say that it may not hurt to be diversified between XRP and Bitcoin, or XRP and ETH if you'd rather be an ETH, because ETH, in my opinion, is probably going to be, if XRP dies because the financial system dies along with it, then ETH will probably be the ultimate winner in the space. Not even Bitcoin, even still Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be like a hedge, but Bitcoin just doesn't, it's not efficient, okay? ETH is the spiritual successor if it's not XRP, in my opinion, especially with all the development that's been done on the ETH platform. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that it is actually probably, it's not a dumb, I know that I've been really hard on Bitcoiners, but I don't think that it would be a dumb decision to be diversified between the two, and to not be an absolute maximalist during the transition. But obviously that means that, that would mean that as an XRP investor who believes hardcore in the fundamentals, that means that I am going to be reducing the amount of gains that I could see if XRP is the chosen one. But it, it's reducing the chance of me not getting anything. So I've got big bags of XRP too personally. So if you feel you don't have enough XRP yet and you're still trying to get those, then what are you doing? Like, hurry up, but in all seriousness, to each their own. I'm not trying to advocate to, not financial advice, obviously. I'm just sharing my thoughts, basically. Hazelcraft vaccine propaganda. I think that was to the this guy over here, Jeremy Young. I mean, if you believe that, Hazel, hey, more power to you, brother. But as I said, actually, while I was reading through this, I don't think that I will personally be getting the vaccine. I'll be relying on herd immunity, because I don't like vaccines, and I can understand elderly people getting this vaccine when it's made available, and really that's all that need it. Really, it's just people over 60 who need to get the vaccine, and because as youthful people, we have a lower chance of dying from COVID than really anything, or than the flu even. I think we have a higher mortality rate from flu as young people. The real issue is how this is causing, like, the real threat of COVID is not so much that it only kills elderly people. It's that it is causing our medical facilities to become swamped. And then therefore people with less severe cases who just have pneumonia, who need a breathing apparatus, are having to fight with other people who need it, because there's not enough breathing apparatuses going around. And so that's the real threat, is that people will suffocate to death because they can't get a breathing apparatus when they would have otherwise survived. And so that's why, like, I get that. I get that. Trust me, Hazel, I'm not like a anti-vaxxer, but I do have a. It's my belief that if you have a good immune system and you don't consider yourself to be at high risk, then avoid vaccines, because your natural immune system is better off without you getting a vaccine. But people who are at high risk, they need to get these vaccines, and as a society, as hopefully a non-psychotic society, we should be taking all measures necessary to protect those who are most vulnerable. And if it means smashing our economy, with a sledgehammer, then so be it. I'd rather see everybody on the world go broke than see millions of people die, personally. Maybe you feel differently, but that's just where I'm at. Gabriel doesn't trust the government and will never get the vaccine. Hey, no power, or all the power to you, Gabriel, and I feel you. I understand completely. Birdie B, I hope the good news that I did give you after the whole bringing down was good. I hope that you felt better once you got the news that, as long as, I think you're an American, Birdie B, I'm not sure, but hopefully the news about getting $1,000 a month is brought your spirits up. And if not, hopefully the XRP news brought you up, right? We got some more partnerships. Apparently D Money is pretty big. It's a pretty big group, so might be pretty impactful. At least once they're all live and you know, once everybody really starts taking this ecosystem seriously, and something else to be considerate of, guys. A lot of us in America, because we're Americans, most of us in the ecosystem, because we're Americans, we compare XRP, as I am right now, to the dollar. Now, I haven't even checked, and I'll check this before I even open my mouth and make an ass of myself. But I have this suspicion that XRP is probably okay. It still took a walk off a cliff. Okay, at any rate, how high up is it though comparative? It's actually about the same percentage against the euro. What about XRP to the yen, JPY? Well, that's just weird. Okay, well that's really, holy crap! I can't even see the chart because it's so volatile. That's wild. Okay, so how bad was this dump for it? That's actually, Japanese yen is crazy. Okay, this is really interesting. So this is something I've never really looked at. I've never looked at XRP versus anything other than the dollar. And the Japanese yen, if you look at it, it only lost 22% when it lost almost 40% against the dollar. So does that mean that during this time, during this dump, that the dollar saw a surge? I wonder. Let's check dollar. Guys. So what I was going to say originally, why I even bring this up, is because I was going to say maybe the XRP was dumping so hard because it had the dollar was surging, and so okay. So when is this? This is March. Okay, so the dollar took a walk off a cliff between March 4th to March 9th, and then started to surge, flatlined, and then started to surge after the 9th, and really on the 10th it had a nice little surge. So let's look at that real quick. Let's see if that's lining up. XRP USD. All right, so this crash happened. This crash happened right after the dollar bottomed and it started to surge. It happened on the 11th through the 12th, the big one on the 12th. So once again, dollar DYX or DXY, yeah. Once again, going. This one shows it as being even more exacerbated. This is the actual index. Yeah, so the 12th and 13th, look at this candle. So really the losses that we saw from XRP and Bitcoin may have actually been more so the dollar surging. And what's interesting, actually, if you look at this, the previous month, while we were running up on Bitcoin and XRP, it was all growing, the dollar was collapsing. So this is actually, the dollar might be driving the price of crypto more than the price of crypto is being driven by itself. Food for thought. So that's actually really interesting. I'm so glad I thought to look that up. I'm glad that I'm actually able to find a correlation between that. That's actually super interesting. That's something I might actually start looking at the dollar for us now in the future. Whenever we start seeing major moves, I might start comparing it to the dollar just to see if the dollar is moving significantly too, to justify it. Now, right now, the dollar is moving up, and so is XRP. So, at least for right now, this move is purely crypto moving. But that was interesting. Let's get back in here and chat. What do we got here? Mark Wethelet. Oh, that's not even English. Okay. Sorry, Fernando. I do not understand what you just said. Herd mentality is the worst possible idea. Oh, you're talking about a video. No, Fernando. I'm not talking about like relying on the virus going through the population and developing herd mentality, because obviously, if you heard what I was saying while going over the virus, you don't develop an immunity to this. At least if you do, it's extremely short-lived. So I'm not I'm talking more so about like I'm not going to get the vaccine unless I'm literally forced to, and that's just because enough people will end up getting it that we don't need to worry. And that's what I mean by herd immunity, is that enough people will get the vaccine that we won't need to worry about this virus becoming widespread, especially within populations who are most vulnerable, because they will be the first people to get the vaccine. For sure, everyone is going to need the vax after this mandatory shot. Yeah, the reality is, XRP whale, it probably will be mandatory. Realistically, as much as that makes me cringe to think, as much as I hate the idea, it probably will. Fluxidin, I'm not sure if you stuck around or were around when I was saying it, but I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Been here for about 2 weeks, and been on lockdown for a week of it. So enjoying my time. Not that I really go out a whole lot anyways. Like my first week here, I went to the mall a few times and whatnot, but I don't really go out too much anyways because I'm introverted. I just like to sit around and do my research, and I'm in this beautiful country with beautiful nature all around me and totally unique culture, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my room and do research because I have no life other than learning. It's a problem. I really hope that when XRP moons, I don't continue to be this way, and I go out and explore the world and really engage with the outer world, because if I feel like my life would be really kind of lame if I get super wealthy from XRP and I still just sit in front of a computer like, yeah, but what's going on in these other markets? How can I turn $1 billion into $1 trillion? Oh, I got something stupid like that. I say that because I can unfortunately see myself with the mindset and like the way that I'm wired. I might not actually be happy when I'm rich and just try and find ways to get even richer. And still not even go make a business, just find a way to like use my money to like put it in other markets to manipulate and build it that way, and find other markets to speculate in with larger sums than I got than obviously I'm playing with now. I hope not. We'll see what happens. Cashing out. China is already doing the same for their people since the beginning of March. Yeah, they have been doing a lockdown, and I was actually just talking with my girlfriend about this, about the lockdown in China, and it's interesting because a lot of it, it's hard to really like get an idea of whether or not a country is really honest based upon what just one country says about that country. Right? Like in America, we're real quick to throw harsh words at China, and like we don't trust them. That's like one of the most common things, is that as Americans we don't trust China. We believe that they lie about everything. But being in Malaysia, a country that's actually on relatively decent terms with China, they all think that the Chinese government's a bunch of liars too. And so while I was talking with my girlfriend, she was saying that she thinks that China's lying about their numbers. She does not believe that they've actually cured this, that they're just keeping it under wraps. And I have a sneaking suspicion that that's true, because it seemed like, and I say this because it seemed like as soon as the rest of the world is dealing with it, even before, or even just days after they did their lockdown, they stopped reporting new numbers. Like, how is it that you do lockdown and no like they got like 5% new cases after their lockdown? That seems really suspicious, right? Like, you would have expected the numbers to surge for at least a week or two as those who were infected but still asymptomatic developed symptoms, right? But that didn't happen. The cases, for all intents and purposes, peaked the day they went into lockdown. So that's just where I sit with it. Maybe I also just hope that China's still suffering with it because the rest of the world is going through hell now. I don't know. maybe I just like equal opportunist that hopes that China doesn't come into control of the world because they squash this, and they are obviously going to firewall the world because they can. because they're the largest producer of everything in the world, and so they're going to be like, aha, we crushed it, and nobody's allowed into our country for the next however long until a vaccine's developed, and they're going to do fantastic. Their economy is going to flourish, and the rest of the world's going to hell. I really don't hope that. I really hope that doesn't happen because, you know, I have nothing against Chinese people, but I have, well, I just I don't like communism. You know, I'm all for a few things like, you know, basic income, but I do not want governments to be in control of everything. And the ugly truth is, actually, on that topic, I know this is completely off topic from what I was talking about in regards to the comments, but on that topic, I don't know that America will remain even will maintain even the semblance of capitalism if this rolling lockdown actually occurs, because America will need to seize the means of production in America. The government will need to seize the means of production in America if it's going to keep most businesses alive, or critical businesses alive, during rolling shutdowns. Because unless they're going to come up with some ingenious method of like staggering payments and freezing companies' assets during the lockdown periods and allowing everything to just start anew each month that they go live or go active, and even that probably won't work. I don't know how you can run a business like Apple, for example, right? We'll use Apple as an example. Apple's not essential to the survival of humanity during a lockdown period. So Apple is going to have to close its doors during the lockdown. Nobody's going to go to work at Apple. Maybe like Tesla, they've managed to skirt through that somehow, but we're going to pretend, even if they're not essential to the functions of society, they're closed. Okay, Apple's closed for the lockdown. First lockdown ends in 2 months, all right? Everybody gets to go back to work in a month. Did Apple survive that 2 months? Having to pay all their overhead? Okay, maybe they do. Maybe Apple has the money to do that for 2 months. No production, nobody working on anything. 2 months they survive, and they got people working for a month. Now we go into our second lockdown period for another 2 months. Did they survive that? Did they produce enough in that 1 month to be able to make ends meet and survive the next 2 months? This is what, and consider that we have to do this for potentially, at minimum, 18 months, a year and a half. If we can't find a way to squash this virus like through suppression methods, 18 months of rolling lockdown? How do you keep a capitalist society, like a capitalist economy, running when you have to keep telling everybody you gotta go home for 2 months? How do these non-essential businesses keep their doors open at all? It's going to be really strange to see what happens. And I can't, other than the government seizing the means of production, I really can't come up with a solution. Maybe it's a temporary thing. Maybe they say it's a temporary thing, because they say it's a temporary thing because, let's be real, anything the government claims is temporary tends to be permanent, especially when it comes to acquisitions and so on. So I don't know. We're entering into into unprecedented territory, right? The world is going into places that we cannot even begin to contemplate what the end result's going to be, right? It's all speculation from here, and I guess in some ways that's nice, because it's like I can speculate and I can give you guys my opinion and honest thoughts, but don't just take me at my word and know that this is just based upon my knowledge set and what I'm seeing, and maybe you're seeing something completely different. I'm not gonna debate whatever anybody else believes, because it's literally like nothing like this has ever happened in the world. We have never done this for a virus on a global scale. Never. This has never occurred. This is a first, and it's impossible to say where we go from here. It is absolutely impossible to say. Nobody knows. And maybe some really powerful people know and they're keeping it hush hush because it's kind of scary, or maybe it's the quantum financial system and we're getting ready to go into XRP, right? Nobody really knows, right? And so it's like it's kind of exhilarating in some ways to me. Like it's terrifying, but at the same time, it like, because I'm a very inquisitive person, maybe some of y'all feel the same way. I can't help but like be fascinated by the times that we're living in, and really just want to know what's going to happen. And you know, that's why I didn't sleep the other day, because like I was so confused by what I was seeing unfold before us, and so flabbergasted by the announcement with Trump saying that he's going to give everybody $1,000 a month throughout the lockdown, that I was like, where do we even go? Where do we even go? What happens next? It's interesting times, guys. If nothing else, we can say it's interesting times. At any rate, CKJ Cellmate, what's up, bro? Welcome to the stream. Sheepus Buffalo, how's it going, bro? Okay, it jumped me way down the chat here. And Code Word, you're in here too. Hopefully you guys are still in here. I know that I'm so far backed up on the chat, but hopefully you guys are having a good one. Okay, so Fernando says that in Europe, the government's paying for everyone's rent, gas, water, electric, and internet because they like everyone's cute eyebrows. Is that like, that's an interesting reason by why you're saying that, but that's actually really interesting. So I think that honestly though, that's a lot of places are going to have to resort to that same metric. I think that it seems like if in America, since they're doing $1,000 a month, I feel like what they'll most likely do is they will say that they're gonna like defer people's mortgages and say that nobody can charge rent during the crisis, like your rent is frozen or whatever during the crisis until further notice, or maybe the government will like just outright pay the rent, and then all your utilities you need to pay since you're getting $1,000 a month. But yeah, we'll see. I think that's probably going to happen. Something to that degree. At least rent and maybe mortgage will be taken over by our government as well here. But that's interesting. I'm glad that you shared that, because I had no idea what was going on in Europe. What happens if it all breaks down? Mad Max in real life. Yeah, Fernando. And if everything breaks down, it is Mad Max. It's nightmares. It's the dystopian nightmare future that movies are made of, right? So we gotta just hope that the supply chain can maintain, and that's why it's actually really important that like we don't attack each other on any regard, globally speaking. All right, like it doesn't matter what your view is of China or Russia or Brazil or America or anyone. As a world, we need to stand united in this, because like it or not, because the supply chain is truly global, we depend on each other, and we're in the greatest dependence upon each other now more than ever, especially with how fragile our economies now are, and how easily it would be for everything to just fall to pieces. So it's really important that nobody's, avoid going after anybody and fanning the flames of the blame game, right? Like, it doesn't matter what your opinion of China or America or insert country is, that's irrelevant right now, because we need to focus on getting through this together. When we're back in booming times and this virus is dealt with and we can know that the economy can maintain itself, then hey, you know what, you do you. But for now, just put it in the closet. All right, guys. Leo Brazil Crypto, morning to you, brother. It is some crazy days we're going through. Absolutely agree. Lawrence XRP, how you doing, bro? Dude markets are people. That's all. Absolutely. People are markets. I'll throw it the opposite. XRP Mojando, how's it going? Good morning to you as well. Michael Desjarlais. I think we have some more space to go down in crypto, crude oil, indices, etc. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I hope that crypto's bottomed. I hope that crypto got it all out of its system when we had the 50% dump. But I don't disagree. I think that it really could go either way from here. To be to be frank and to be completely transparent with you guys, it really could go either way. Like it could absolutely XRP could still go down. Hiccups. XRP could still easily go down to even 7 cents, even 5 cents. At this point in the stage that we are at with the global economy, the bottom could be anywhere. The bottom could be a half a cent, guys. I don't know any more than the next person. Nobody knows. Anybody tells you where the bottom is going to be, nobody knows. Okay, especially right now. What I can say with some degree of certainty is that it doesn't matter what the bottom is, because as long as you've got good bags of XRP, the only thing another dip means is you get to buy more, because it should be without a shadow of a doubt certainty in all of your minds who've done your studying with XRP. And I'm going to say this without even the quip that y'all expect, because I'm certain that the 38 people in this chat are XRP veterans. It don't matter where it goes. All this a dip means is that we get to buy more, because we all know, we've done our research. We know where XRP goes when all is said and done. Who cares what the bottom is? The bigger question is, how long do we have to wait for the run? And right now it's up in the air. It's dependent upon how long this current humanitarian crisis is extended, right? So I think that we just have to wait to see what the markets do, how they choose to approach all this, and hopefully the right decision is made, and we can see the markets calm down and accept that it's going to be a rough few months, but there's no reason selling out and dumping everything into infinity, because it's just gonna exacerbate problems, or it's I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying in regards to that. It's just it's uncertain times, right? I wish I could give you guys an answer. I really wish I could, but I'd be disingenuous to say that I have any clue where this is going. And I think anybody that's out there telling you in our ecosystem or otherwise is doing you a disservice. So I'm not even gonna try and fake and pretend like I know, because I don't. Nobody does. Lazy Delay, how's it going? Turning up from the UK, buying the dip. I mean, it's a little bit of a nice surge right now, but yeah, absolutely. Overall, the dip, I really can't wait till my money comes in, and I'm kind of I'm half hoping that we stay down here, half hoping we go to $1,000, but half hoping also that we stay down here so I can put a fat chunk in when my money from the stock market hits the bank account. Let's see, going down. Yeah, it is a little bit of a dip, but let's see. Jump in. Ducky McScrooge, how have you been smoking peyote, bro? I can't even smoke the ganj over here. I'd get the death penalty in Malaysia if I even got caught smoking ganj, bro. Psychedelics? I can't do anything in Malaysia, but that's cool. I've been even while I was in Cali, I was clean. Like I didn't smoke my last I think 2 months in Cali. I think I got bud when I didn't even get it when I first got to San Diego. I think I had some when I got to San Francisco that I got from Area 51, and I'm pretty certain once I got through that, I was done and haven't smoked since. So it doesn't even matter to me anymore. But I can't. I don't drink either. So I'm actually feeling like I'm a brag, guys. I don't have any vices. Video games are my biggest vice, and that's just my escape mechanism from the craziness whenever I get overwhelmed by what we're dealing with. I go and play some I've been playing a lot of I think I said in my last live stream, I've been playing a lot of Warhammer lately. The old Warhammer Online. There's a private server for it. The actual game died. I don't know if anybody out there played Warhammer Online way back in 2002 when it came out, but I loved it. Absolutely loved the PvP scenario in it. Yeah, so I play that a lot. I've been playing that. Just getting at least a few hours in here and there whenever I just can't deal with all the news we're going through. Getting when it gets too bleak, right? You're from the UK, Birdie B. All right. But XRP always makes me happy. Pretty much thinking long term. Absolutely, that's all I can do, Birdie B. And be safe over there. Hopefully the UK starts taking care of y'all. Shu, what's up, dude? Hold up, CKJ's got something here. Is anyone here a customer of Wells Fargo? A friend of mine is having their family's Wells Fargo account closed because has been buying crypto. That's messed up. I don't have Wells Fargo's account myself, but that's screwed up that Wells Fargo would do that. Hey, you know, some companies just, they don't get it. They don't get it. And those who don't get it, guess what? At the end of this, they're not going to be around. I mean, I think that's something we can say with a pretty high degree of certainty. Any companies that don't embrace crypto and digital assets, they won't be around in 5 years. Who cares? Like no matter what, they're gone in 5 years. Especially with the way that the markets are going now. So we can say that with a pretty high degree of confidence. Because whether it's XRP or Chainlink or some other coin, if they don't embrace crypto and they're a financial institution, they're gone in 5 years, because this system is changing over in 5 years at most. I think where we're at right now, I think we're a year at most away from the digital revolution. And really, as I'm sure a lot of you feel, I think we're, you know, in worst case, I really think that we're probably like a month away with how the dollar is now behaving. The dollar is going into like the hyperinflation / valuation phase of this bubble. And so when that peaks, however long that can survive, that's when it happens. Because when that peaks, on the other end of that peak is the death of the dollar. And so yeah, I think that you know, maybe like 3 months to a year is probably like the point of if you're gonna look at a bell curve of when it's most likely for digital currencies to become adopted, 3 months to a year from now is when we're probably like 90% of all 90% chance is gonna happen. I would say personally. Maybe I'm fooling myself, but I feel it. I feel that this digital economy has to take over. I don't think that the Main Street economy can survive this, no matter what. The fiat system's done, and there's a lot of people out there that obviously agree. The gold bugs have been saying it since 2008, right? Gold bugs have been saying that this is the end. That whenever this tanks, it's over. And you know, everything that we're seeing news-wise and the way that this Black Swan event that we're dealing with is actually affecting Main Street, it really might be. It really, really not just might be. It has to be, right? I think we all agree with that. Shu, what you got for me, brother? Just wanted to stop by and say hi, my man. Been busy with my move from Korea to the States. Oh, you're back in the States? Good for you, bro. I hope you stay safe. Have not had a lot of time to jump into the live streams. No worries, bro. Glad you're able to hop in. Hope your move wasn't too much of a headache, and everything's going well for you now. Sorry that you had to come back to the States right as crap hit the fan, but you know, it is what it is, I guess, right? Just stay safe, brother. Sheepish. Oh, you're talking to CKJ Cellmate there. Introverts are gonna rule the world, Birdie B. I agree. I agree. We already do. Have you heard of Jeff Bezos? Have you heard of David Schwartz? They're introverts. Have you heard of Elon Musk? He's actually an introvert. As much as he seems to be very eloquent and you know, if you're an introvert, you know that we can be very obviously as an introvert, we can be very talkative and expressive when it comes to talking about our passions. But yeah, most of the most powerful people in the world are actually introverts, and it's because introverts, unlike extroverts, get their knowledge from firsthand instead of word of mouth. Extroverts learn word of mouth in social settings. Introverts learn by reading typically, and so that's why typically those who rule the world are not the ones who are finding out information from somebody else, but are getting the information they're probably sharing with somebody else, right? Because they're first source, and the ones that are usually coming up with the novel ideas anyways, because they're taking in the whole of the information versus what somebody can contain in their words. That's my thesis on it, right? That it's probably like crackpot, but you know, from my understanding of, you know, as many of you know, I studied psychology and neurology, so like there is evidence to it, right? I don't know that I could I would say that it's sound, really, but there's definitely a few studies that support what I shared, but nothing like really like concrete. You know, it's mostly anyway. Fluxton, I feel the same way, always chasing money, not enjoying the opportunities around me, always trying to make those opportunities. Yeah, I think that I like will really need to force myself